go?
Seems to work.
No, I've been there, done that.
Huh. Get, that's police department.
Okay, we ready?
Well, now I can't even get it to pull up.
Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order, please.
Council workshop meeting, Monday, April 1, 2019, 6 p.m. Heidrich.
Aye.
Meyer.
Aye.
Mohesky.
Here.
Patke.
Here.
Pettit.
Here.
Skornia. Here. Sullentrup.
There.
Waterman.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will all the committee members answer if they have or have not read the minutes of the meeting dated March 4, 2019? Heidrich.
Aye.
Holtmeyer.
Aye.
Mohesky.
Yes.
Patke.
Yes.
Pettit.
Yes.
Skornia.
Yes.
Sullentrup.
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
Having read the minutes, are there any comments or questions, any corrections?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Patke, seconded by Mohesky, or Sullentrup. Seconded by Sullentrup to approve the minutes from our last meeting dated March 4, 2019. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you approve the minutes. Thank you.
Report of department heads, parks, bid recommendation for bleachers.
Wayne?
Good evening. I'm here in the 2018 to 2019 budget. We had bleachers budgeted for due to age and condition and code change in code requirements. And the budget amount was $21,220. We can go out to bid through the interlocal contract for cooperative purchasing, which we've done on several other projects and equipment throughout the years. The city has a membership through the Houston-Galveston Area Council, which is an interlocal cooperative purchasing agreement. And we can get a bid for those bleachers. They are a little more than what we budgeted for. The bid came in, the total amount came in at $24,588, which is slightly more than what we budgeted. But we have savings in that account from other purchases throughout the year, so we should be okay. So I'm asking, staff and Parks and Rec Commission are asking for your support. We recommend landscape structures in the bid amount of $24,588 for the purchase of 2 sets of bleachers.
Any questions or comments?
Where do these go, Wayne? On a
They'll-
permanent basis or portable?
Pardon?
Are these permanent or portable?
These will be, well, they're more permanent. I mean, they're hard to, we can move them if we have to, but they would be, we have some going in on soccer, on the soccer fields, and these are to replace some other older ones. I'm pretty sure they'll be up there, but I don't need to double check with that, so. Anything else?
Any other questions?
Much over budget?
They were budgeted for 21,220, and they came in at 24,588.
And you got savings in somewhere else, you said?
Yes, that same account from different purchases.
Darren, is there any way we could talk to maybe the fair board, if they could pick up the remaining?
If it's something that they are going to, I don't know, without knowing exact placement of it, I don't know if they're going to be taking advantage of it. If it's
Yeah, these are,
soccer fields, I don't know that you would, that's what he said. That this
yeah, these would be
portion
more
of
for
these-
the athletic fields.
Right.
As long as we got the money, I'll make a motion. Go ahead.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Sullentrup, seconded by Holtmeyer, to send this item on to council. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you sent it on. Thank you. Thank you, Wayne. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, I have a few other things to report on. Today, the guys were out. I think someone may have asked here over the last couple weeks about disc golf out at Burger Park, so they were able to begin on that today. They got in 7 holes or 7 stakes and poles for the baskets, and they should have, by the end of the week, I know it is supposed to rain one of those days, but they should make pretty decent progress this week on disc golf out there. So that's finally moving along. The window replacement here at City Hall is moving along. The completion date is April 12th, but they should be done well in advance of that date. They got in, despite the rain last week, they got in all their work days last week. They could get a rain day this week, but they're moving along pretty well with that. And everyone seems to love the windows so far. The looks,
They got ventilation in them this time, right?
yes. And tent, window tent, so there's not
They're
much of a
nice.
glare.
They're twice as thick as the
Twice
old
as
ones.
thick.
They're nice.
They're really good.
They look good from the outside and inside. So
It's always good to get the hot air out of the room. You would tell.
Are we doing anything with these glass?
yes,
Yes.
that's the last.
They're also being replaced.
That's the last step of the project. It's, I think, from what he was telling me today, that's the messiest step of the whole
sure it will
project, so. But they are being replaced.
With windows, right?
Yes. Well,
Well, with.
they're not quite the square blocks like
Yes.
this.
They're obscured.
Huh?
They're obscured glass.
Right, you can't see through them, but
There you go.
there's still glass.
Some kind of square blocks, but I think bigger than these.
They are bigger than these.
Also, last week, we were down at the Riverfront, the guys were down at the Riverfront, cleaning up, grading out that area next to the Waterworks building. And then we were also getting ready, I had a school group, Borgia Community Service, or Borgia students, there was like 50 of them that needed service hours, and they were down there late last week, and they picked up trash along the trails and in the park, and then also painted some barricades that are over by the sand plant where the media will be staged for the bridge implosion. They had some nasty words on the concrete pillars, or barricades, I should say. And so they painted those, got rid of the nasty words in case cameras would shine on them.
They're gonna finish all of them, or?
Finish all the barricades. I don't know, they did the ones right, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but right where.
You can see the ones that are done, they're white.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if they're gonna do the rest, I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know, I don't know if they look bad or if, I know there was only a few that had the nasty words on them, but other ones have, I think, pictures and things like that. But yeah, if we get time, or we can paint them if need be, so. And then Saturday, there was a honeysuckle, despite the rain and cold weather, they removed some honeysuckle out at Miller Post, which I really commend those people because it was really nasty on Saturday, so. But they did have their work day. Otherwise, it would have been canceled for the second time, but they did get it in Saturday. And then one of the final thing is just working on the dog park, cleaning up some stuff over there, spring cleaning, trying to determine if we can get in a small the dog park group, I guess, or committee, has put in a request to have a small dog area. And so they marked the spot where they think this should go. And we're going to go out and see how much fencing that's going to take and how we can go about this project. So it's a work in progress. That's it.
Any questions or comments?
Wayne, this may be new to you, but Mr. Dunkel was working on this project of getting some playground equipment over in the east end of town, down at the park behind Target.
Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix Park. Do you know anything about that, or?
It's in our capital improvement sales tax.
Well, we talked about moving some old equipment, replacing some, and he was talking about moving some older equipment over there at one time.
Okay, I'd have to go back and look to see what the details were on that. I was
haven't
not
heard.
aware of that.
I can ask Chad and see what he knows.
So it's old equipment to be moved from one spot in town out to there?
That's what was said at one time to me. You're
Okay.
supposed to be getting some new equipment replaced, and they were gonna move the older over to there.
I think he was talking about the rotary down there by Runswick Field.
Though, some of that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
And moving
replacing
it,
some of that and moving that.
and move
down.
it to Phoenix?
I don't think that happened.
But it never, right?
Well, that hasn't moved yet because
we
we haven't moved forward on the other project yet.
Yeah.
If memory serves me correctly from park board meetings, I think it was talked about, but it wasn't advantageous at the time. And that's why it got added to the capital improvement sales tax, that was gonna be one of the added park over by the tennis courts in Phoenix Park. So the last I remember, I could be wrong too, but I don't think we were gonna move old equipment over there because replacing the old equipment was necessary, not because of age, but because of, you know, the condition of what it's in, so.
And are there issues with liability of the equipment itself, et cetera? I don't know if what the status of
Right,
that is.
so I think it's a matter of, the new one's coming.
I'm just
far as I
expressing
know.
what was told to me, Jeff, at one time. That's what, and I'm just seeing what the status quo was on it.
Yeah, I'll dig a little deeper and see. Okay,
Thank you.
anything else?
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
City Clerk, City Council orientation. In your packet, I've created a little handbook for newly elected officials.
That was an
Well,
awesome
I've
job.
seen
Nicely done.
Awesome job. Thank you.
the need for it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of questions were asked.
Overdue.
So it's a rough draft yet. If you have any suggestions for what you want included on it, I'd be open to include it in there. I am working on it turned into a big binder. This will get posted on the city's website. It's going to include the council orientation handbook. It's going to have the MML for elected officials. It's going to have the certified municipal official program information, forms of government, sunshine law, ethics law guide, the budget, and the purchasing policy.
What a great idea.
Nice.
It's a good idea.
So if there's anything you want included, if you think I missed, please let me know so we can get our new council informed.
Pretty
And
thick book. Hope you don't scare them away.
Don't show
this
it to them until they
this
get
is the
elected.
main
Yeah,
one.
wait till
though.
after. You should show that one, or wanting to,
Right.
When they first sign up.
Say,
Yes.
here, read that first.
Well, that would be something, that I could steer them to on the webpage when they first sign
Right.
up, that,
What's involved?
to kind of help get them acquainted with what happens at meetings and how things work.
Great idea.
Yep.
Thank you.
Real good.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we're open for any other department head.
Don't fight over it.
Good evening. Street department stuff. We got our bulk trash pickup week starts the 15th of April. As you know, the e-cycle event is the 6th of April. I don't know if you guys ever noticed down at the recycle center, we had a shoe drop-off area for recycling shoes. The company that is doing it is no longer going to use our site as a pickup location. They did send an email regarding the quality of some of the shoes that we were getting just wasn't up to par for them. So Pam has been working with Brown Shoe. They have a different organization that they work with. So Brown Shoe is actually going to make a sign for us to replace our other sign, basically telling people, bring all your stuff over to Brown Shoe and they'll take them. So we've been doing a lot of work supporting the landfill, backing up the manpower shortages out there this week. We do have 2 landfill employees scheduled to come in. I believe Shauna's got them through their testing already, so hopefully in the next week or 2 we'll have an operator and a laborer for the landfill. We did sell our 2 old sweepers that we had. One went for $9,460 and the other one was $7,370. And our old 87 tandem dump truck is on the Purple Wave auction site right now at $4,100. And half of our salt trucks have been disassembled, so let's pray for nice weather.
Tony, understand you had a little accident where a truck left with the bed up last week or something?
Was that the water department truck
Was it the water department?
with the power lines?
Yeah. And then any real damage to the truck?
No. Luckily, when it hit the lines, I think it popped all the fuses loose and there was nothing bad.
Is your operator liking the sweeper any better?
Mixed emotions. When you've operated one type of sweeper for so long, this is a little bit new, so he does like the aspect of you can roll the windows up, you don't have to get dusted all the time, and you can raise the hood and the brooms and it takes off down the street like a regular vehicle.
Say, that mobilization's got to be
Yep, yep. So it's got a lot of benefits.
Any other questions of Tony?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be quick.
I just want to give you an update on some of our projects. Our Locust Street redevelopment that we've kind of been working on now for well over a year. Now that we've acquired our last piece of property there, adjacent to the old trailer park, we have the fire department completed their training there last week. We have gone out to bid for the demo on that. SCI has already done their inspection on lead-based paint and asbestos. And so we're hoping mid to late April, getting the bids back, selecting a contractor to tear that down. And then I think we're going to give them 4 weeks, is what Andrea said, to tear that down. During that 4 weeks, we will double up on that process, and while they're tearing it down, we're going to send out our RFQ to development teams to see who's interested in actually developing the land, to try and cut some weeks out of there. So that would put us in, by the end of June, hopefully having these projects and development proposals submitted, and then we can select in July, is ideally. So it's a little bit later than we anticipated. We were hoping to select and build in 2019. I think that's still possible if we come to an agreement and we find a project that's perfect, but right now that's what we're looking at for the Locust Street development. We do have an additional small TIF application that is our building rehab program. The only other one downtown that is currently utilizing it is the Langenberg Hat building, where it's Streetside Taco and the lofts. We have received an additional application for Ed Miraz's property down on Front Street, and he has gone through with all of his submittals. It was scored and reviewed at Historic Preservation, passed through unanimously. He got a certificate of review because that is mandatory review, mandatory compliance. And so that now that it's gone through that, you'll see that on your agenda on April 15th. So we have asked him to be present to answer questions on that. I'll give a quick presentation on what he's doing, similar to what I did with Streetside Taco, and how what we're anticipating that project to bring in under the small TIF. If you remember, that project allows them to get 80% tax rebate on the increase that it brings from their project. So they have submitted some numbers with that. I'm working still on our marketing campaign with our Washington Young Ambassadors. We have filmed our first of 6 videos. We are working, the next 5 I think will kind of happen quickly once the weather picks up. We're going to do a residential video mid-April, because there's going to be a lot of drone footage, some outdoor shooting with that. That is moving forward, as well as our actual campaign to get eyes on our Washmo Works, our job opportunities page. We have gotten great success with that. Sherry's been sending that out monthly, and then throughout that entire a whole month, she'll get emails, and she's putting jobs on our website. We're getting some good traction, I feel. We're trying to get some eyes on there, so we have gotten some, our Washington Young Ambassadors has some marketing campaigns planned to get some traction on that website that I think will be successful in May. And then lastly, still continuing to work with our business prospects, new and existing industries, and then also that includes finalizing securing land for a new industrial park. So we're moving forward with that, and we're hoping to have some movement in the coming months and moving forward with that. So that's really all I have.
Any questions of Sal?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Sal. Chief?
Evening, everyone. I put a letter in front of you for a request I have. Need your permission to sign a agreement or a bid with Sure Manufacturing. For the past couple of years, we've looked at a remodel in the jail and the booking room to improve officer safety and jail security. It was put on the budget this year at $12,000. We need about $15,000, so there's hopes later in the year funds might become available. But we have an inmate fund where we receive monies from tickets or cases that are fined, and the fees comes out of that, and that's built up over the past couple of years. So that's to the tune of over $6,000. So with the $12,000 budgeted this year, and that $6,000, we'll be able to do the remodel this year. And I'm asking for the agreement with Assure Manufacturing right now, because it's part of the whole bid process. EchoCamp Electric is doing rewiring, and then we're paying for materials, and with volunteer help and officers, we're doing a raised flooring. But the Sure Manufacturing, it takes them 6 weeks to engineer, build, paint, and do up the cabinet system that we're going to put in there. And That will put those items and materials here about the time we need them to do all the installation. And the total for that is $7,646.10, so I just need an approval or your permission that I can sign that agreement with them so they can start the build.
So it's only for the booking room, not for all of
It is
the...
only the booking room. We as a staff talked about security in the building, and we looked at the booking room and got officer input, and they felt it could be improved and a lot better than it is. So we're changing things around so that the prisoners have less access to an officer. You can watch them easier. They'll have to go up over a counter if they go after an officer. Photographing will take place. Breathalyzer will take place so that it's all more limited and harder for a suspect or an inmate to come at an officer or hurt him. And it will always keep an officer facing an inmate. Before, we'd have to look at him in a good old mirror to see what they're doing behind us. That'll take care of that, take that away. So this is one part of a whole project, and the other two parts, we're waiting for some EchoCamp Electric, some additional from the rewiring, because we're getting new cameras put in the jail, in each cell and the booking areas and the facilities as part of the new camera system going in the whole city. And then we're also rewiring the doors. Teltron Electronics used to handle all that. We're getting away from them and doing it all internally. So I just need your okay.
The electric?
Electric right now is at about 12,000. That includes some CAD 6 that has to be wired for the cameras. That is a line for every camera in the building. And if we had to run a line from camera all the way to the main box, that would be from, say, the booking room all the way into electronics from dispatch. We're looking at some boxed units where the lines will go in 5 or 6 to one boxed unit, and then one cable off that box unit to dispatch. So that'll reduce wiring and also reduce the mess in trying to pull all that through everywhere.
Did you say the electric was 12,000?
Should be about 12. Well, all total will be 16,000. So
whatever 16
whatever
minus
16.
the 7 DC.
7 and about 1,000 for the materials. So whatever that's left is what we should have. The 12,000 is budgeted.
12,000 is budgeted.
Is
Yes.
budget. And then the inmate fund, that's not general fund, that's a fund. Which,
we still have to, we might have to come back later and
okay.
increase that budget.
And
Yeah,
that
you'd
is,
have to do a budget amendment, and he's going to bring the rest of this contract at the meeting on the
Next.
15th, correct?
yes, correct. And that inmate fund can only be used for improvements to a jail or dealing with inmates in some manner, so,
And that money's in a fund right now?
yes.
How much is in there?
You said about 6,000?
We would basically be using the balance of that.
We should there should be just under 2,000 left in there by the time we do everything.
So do we need to send this on to council?
Yes, he's going to ask, we need to send this on to council later for approval, just for us to go ahead and sign it so that Shure can go ahead and start on the cabinets. The rest of the contract stuff that he's talking about will come to you on the meeting
Are
on
we
the 15th.
redoing a different cabinet? Is that what we're doing?
There are no cabinets down there.
Okay.
This is a stainless steel painted system that it's already been measured and remodeled, and I can bring a blueprint of it to fit in the area how we want to fit it in. We'll hold for a place for the fingerprinting, a place for the breathalyzer, a place for the camera setup, access between the officer and the inmates so we can collect property, things like that.
Where do you do all this now?
Pardon?
Where do you do all that now?
You have a desk just sitting there. So we're closing it up, that's it. And a countertop for the BA, which is behind the officer, and the fingerprinting. And the
Any other-
countertop came from over here in our old office.
I'll make a motion to send on to council.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Waterman, seconded by Holtmeyer to send this item on to council. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By your vote, you've sent it on. Thank you.
As far as crime in the city, we continue to have thefts due to addicts who steal to get their drugs they need. That's not changed. February, we were down. We didn't have any Narcan uses at all for overdoses. Came back up in March. We had 2, and then we had another one over the weekend. Everyone knows one of our local homeless people, Glenda Beckenpaw, passed away. She had been assaulted by her boyfriend. We've investigated that. Do not believe that assault caused her death. She also fell down at a later time and hit her head on the concrete, and they were doing an autopsy, but they're inclined to think that's probably how it happened. She had brain damage and had to get brain surgery, and ended up being brain dead and taken off the system. So. I don't know if you want to know about it, but there was a 14-year-old at the theater Friday night with a 9mm who took it there because he thought he was going to be assaulted, so he was going to take care of people. But a local young lady who happened to see the gun stepped forward and give us a call, so we got it taken care of. I can't mention names or anything because it's all juveniles. But it's sad to see we have something like that. 14 years old. Any other questions or any questions for me?
Kudos to the young lady
Yes,
and to the police department.
yes, that she came forward and said, gave a call and said, there's going to be an issue. I saw it, he's got it, and somebody needs to take care of it, so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Next. Tom?
Good evening. I just have a couple small things I wanted to mention. As far as our numbers for permits for the month of March, they're still pretty much next to nothing for residential. But we have received in the last week 3 new residential permit applications. So I think we're on the upswing as far as permit apps. So I'm hopeful that's the beginning of a turnaround for the building department. And I think we did a total of about 140 inspections for this month. And that's pretty much all I have. So.
Any questions of Tom? Okay, thank you. John?
Good evening. I'm going to speak on behalf of Kevin Quatham as well. Kevin is at a water conference, and he is going to be having some good news, I believe, on our sewage treatment plant. So I'll let him say that when he gets back. But there was a potential award that the city may be getting on the operation of our treatment plant. So well 9 on Suderman Road, it is under roof now. We do have it sheeted on the outside. We are using city staff to do that. So it's going pretty well. They made a lot of progress last week. It is, I think, papered in, the roof itself is, and should be getting shingled here hopefully this week. So that's moving along. The big concern there is just May, June, with irrigation systems, just making sure that we have that capacity back up. So we are feeling pretty confident that that's going to be a go. So no big concern there right now. We've not received our Vector truck yet. It's having to go through a DOT inspection. It did come from Texas, was delivered to Illinois, so we're still waiting on getting that DOT certification to bring it over here to Missouri. I'm not 100% certain what all that entails, but we should be getting that into town here pretty quick. So appreciate you all kind of fast-tracking that with us. As far as engineering goes, you may have seen some cones and things placed out on West Main. We are still waiting to give that notice to proceed. They are stockpiling some material there. That's going to occur pretty quick, hopefully within a week to get that project up and running. The concern there is just opening up, removing that old retaining wall and start placing the new retaining wall and just making sure it's done fast, just because that hillside does get a lot of water from the properties above, and I don't want that cascading over. So just trying to find that, make sure the contractor has the manpower in place so we can move fast. Once the wall does go up, it's a sidewalk. It shouldn't take too long to finish that up. So we still have not started on that. They are working on getting some paperwork in yet still for MoDOT. You may also see up at Cedar and Fifth, there was a utility company did some work. I think it was the gas company. At that intersection, they had a couple panels of concrete that was removed. That intersection does not have any, this would be on the south side of Fifth by Cedar Crest. That intersection does not have any ADA ramps in it. Part of that, the utility company essentially removed the existing panels and just put them right back in as is. I've been working with AT&T and Spire to change that policy. I feel that if they remove something that's non-compliant, they need to put it back compliant. So we're going to be trying to get notification out to them so it's not a burden on us to put an ADA ramp in. I feel like they remove it, they need to put it back the way it is. I did approve a project that will start most likely Friday to replace some of those panels and get a ramp put in there to get it done right this time around. But just moving forward, that's kind of the policy we're going to implement. So if you see that kind of going on, it's not always necessarily our contract doing that type of work, but we'll keep an eye on that a little more. So if you have any questions on that. Other than that, obviously river levels are up. They are gradually going down. I don't anticipate any major situation right now. I mean, we are prepared. I know Mark's Scornian, and I'm sure he'll have some more. He has way more information than I do on this. But Parks and Public Works, we all coordinate together on different river situations. This was the first time since we've repaved the parking lot down on the riverfront parking lot, and you can't access the actual parking stalls or the trail from that lower entrance when the river comes up. So part of that is we're going to implement a policy where when the river approaches 23 to 24 feet that we actually remove those parking bumpers that are blocking the actual trail just to make sure that emergency personnel can get access, and that the dock owners and everything else we can get access in there. So it is kind of a little emergency situation. But we have essentially set that policy in place now that we've been through one of these events that exceeded 23 foot on the gauge. So,
Basically for dock owners only, because you can't get to the trail anyway.
correct. Yeah, the trail would essentially be shut down. I did notice that people are driving, through it and utilizing it as is. I don't necessarily see an issue with that. It is slow speeds, things of that nature. So. Until we see any other problems with it, we'll address those as they come. But you are correct. It is just to make sure that those individuals do, can't access their docks. And that was part of the initial discussion when we relocated the Elbert Drive to the north or towards the river.
You going to try to clean the trails with the water still on them to try to get the muck down to a
I
minimum?
have to defer to Wayne, but that is the process.
Okay.
Is we kind of sweep it as we go. I know I was talking to Chad with Parks today, if there's any other, better method. That's the best one, to be honest. So.
Okay.
I'd just like to say for public record, that is what's expected when a river comes up. I know there's been some social media comments that we're wasting money on the trail because now we have to sweep it again. But, it's a great thing. And when a river comes up, we deal with it and we move on. And I think we're going to do that job like we did before, and we'll have it cleaned up in due time, and it'll be open to the public when the water recedes.
It's important. It is a riverfront trail, so it's right adjacent to the river, and you do not have, various federal agencies do not allow you essentially to build a levee for a trail. So it's just something that's not.
Nor do we want any.
Unattainable.
It's just,
No.
Right.
The benefit for when it's open far outweighs these types of events.
Right. I think we all know what I'm talking about, but that's just unfortunate.
It is important too. We had approximately 3 inches of rain on Saturday, and when the ground's as saturated as what it is, The perception is that there is, stormwater issues or flooding all over town, which certain instances that may be the case. The way we kind of look at it when we do an investigation, if somebody would call my office, we always go out and look at things and, maybe give homeowners ideas of how they can, help themselves on their own property. But if water's going in between homes and around things and you're not getting flooded, that's not really a flooding situation. That is just water moving from high ground to low ground. So I know we bring this up every spring, but it is pretty important that people understand that, a saturated backyard in March after March, April, after such a, wet winter is to be expected. Just so if we have any questions or you guys get those things, just send them to me and we'll work through it.
Have we looked at the bridge there where the water inlet is at the trail? We put the new bridge in. There's a lot of water comes through there. I haven't personally been down there to see if that's
Sorry,
has stayed.
I'm missing.
On the trail.
On the new part of the Riverfront
West
Trail
part of
going
the
west,
Mm-hmm.
where the bridge went over, that little creek there, there's a lot of water comes out of that outlet, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, the box culvert underneath.
Correct.
Yes,
It was
yes.
an area of concern if that was the bridge was in the right spot or debris wasn't going to hurt anything there.
Well, and it's the same type of thing. Is if you built a bridge or you extended that culvert, obviously you'd have to go up and over and down, and you'd have to tie in a railroad, jurisdiction culvert and all these things. And really, it's just it's an unnecessary thing for just a minor inconvenience.
I was just curious if anyone had seen if everything's okay after the rain on Saturday.
I'd have to defer again.
I haven't been down there. Well, look, good enough.
And that fence or gate that's there, I mean, it collects a lot of debris. We knew that going into it, and that's why it's made out of structural steel and bolted. And I know the Parks Department has done a pretty good job of removing that debris. So it's just one of those maintenance items that we kind of knew going into it, really. So.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, John. Mark, you want to give us the river report?
Good evening, council. Thank you for everyone who either stopped in or called in for the tornado drill on March 5th. Appreciate that. We've been coordinating meetings with the emergency services and city services for the upcoming bridge implosion. Matter of fact, we're having one again tomorrow morning to make sure that we have everything ready when the implosion does occur. The biggest burden is on the police department because essentially the area north of 3rd between Boone on the west and Washington Avenue on the east, that area will be a no trespassing zone, if you will. It's in the zone to where there might be debris come from the implosion. So there will be no public allowed in those areas. So those streets will be closed. Police as well as Sheriff's Department is assisting to secure those areas because if anyone is seen in those areas, the countdown will stop. They will not do the bridge explosion with anyone within that area. So it's important that no spectators be in that area. So we are making plans for that. The other area of main concern is when the bridge does go down, 47 will come to a stop, both north and southbound completely, and we're told probably for a minimum of 30 minutes and possibly up to, they don't really know, but the bridge inspection could take possibly, we're told, up to 2 hours to where they have to sweep debris off of the bridge, the new bridge, and make an inspection of the new bridge before traffic is allowed to move. So 47 southbound will come to a complete stop, and there will be a turnaround possibly at 94. But on this side, it's been decided police will be working northbound 47. When it comes to 5th Street, we'll have to make either a left or a right. Traffic will not be allowed to back up, and you all know the stack effect that happens there now with just the one lane closures, let alone coming to a complete standstill. excuse me, so when traffic gets to Fifth, they're gonna have to go left or right. There's no option. They gotta go one way or the other and circle back around, take a break, get something to eat, get a soda, take a nap, whatever, and then come back and check how things are going later on at the bridge. So just be aware of that. We have been inviting hospitals aware of the meeting. We've been keeping the school district informed. This morning I was talking to first student personnel. So we're trying to keep everybody in the loop as much as possible. Not to, say the sky is falling, but Highway 47 for a couple of hours, whenever that implosion occurs, is not going to be the place to be.
Mark, you might have said it, but is MoDOT putting up any caution signs?
Yeah, good question. MoDOT is, we're told by Judy that they're going to be putting message boards both ways on 47, possibly back as far as 44, and I think maybe 70 on the other side to let people know, that it's going to be closed on that day. So they are going to be putting message boards out when that day is decided, a few days before that.
Thank you.
Other than that, the river flooding, fortunately right now, we crested yesterday morning just a little over 25 feet. So hopefully the spring melt up north will be slow and we won't have to revisit this issue again. We held 3 CPR and first aid classes for parks. We're still awaiting word on from the EPA on the old Sporlan plant number 1, still waiting patiently. And PD is sponsoring a blood drive on Thursday from noon to 4. Okay, from noon to 4, so roll up your sleeves.
Any other questions of Mark?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Shauna?
Evening. Wanted to do a quick update on hiring because we've been doing a lot lately. So just to keep you up to date, I wanted to go over what we've finalized and then what we still have open, so you can kind of know where we're at on the hiring. Offers have been made and pre-employment testing is in the process for our maintenance worker 1 and maintenance worker 3 at the landfill. Tony did mention that. Those are 2 new positions that we've repositioned there to give our landfill a little bit more dedicated help, so we're not backfilling from the street department so often, and that'll give us a little more dedicated time to get those positions to focus on the landfill. Also, the infrastructure designer, which was the position in engineering, we were able to fill that as well. That individual will start by April 15th. We have dispatcher trainee, 1 more position open in dispatch, and that is in the final phase of interviewing, so that one should be filled quickly as well. On full-time openings, we do have that maintenance worker 1 that you all approved for ball field prep in the Parks Department. So we do have that ad out. We've not received a lot of input on that yet. We're putting it back out again just to see if there's anyone that maybe didn't see it the first time, or if someone maybe didn't realize what it was. But that will be a maintenance worker 1 position. Their specialty will be ball field prep, but they will do other maintenance worker 1 tasks as well, and we'll have other folks in the Parks Department that will backfill that position as needed and use those skills as well. And then we do have an opening now that just came open due to a resignation in the street department for a maintenance worker 1. So we'll be putting that position back out for filling again. I will say that it may seem like a lot, but the current market for employment, as many of you know, many of you that are involved in that, it's a tough market right now. And so we've seen a lot of challenge in filling some positions, but I think the best thing that we can do is prove why we are the employer that people should come to. So I want to make sure that we express our benefits and the great opportunity to come and work for the city and be a public servant. So we're trying to find ways that we can get that information out there and encourage people, encourage our own employees to encourage their friends and people they may know, colleagues, to come work for the city. So we're pushing on that. Seasonal, we are still really looking for some summer seasonal help. We've not had as many responses this year as we did last year. So we are looking for pool cashiers. That's a great summer job for maybe a 16, 17, 18-year-old who's looking to work 20, 25 hours a week at our pool, being a cashier. And then we have camp counselors that work at Camp Washington. Those positions, you need to be 18 to work with the young people. And so we have that position. And then Parks Maintenance, the Maintenance Worker 1 seasonal is open as well, and they have just bumped that to $12 an hour. So we're putting that back out with that starting rate out there to try to help encourage some folks. They do require some weekend work, so we think that might be a good incentive. And then our street department also needs some help with Maintenance Worker 1 seasonal this summer, so we're looking for those. So we're just pushing that back out again, trying to get those filled and to get them fully staffed as quick as possible. Most of those positions start, Parks would take them now, I think Streets Department would as well, but the pool and camp always start at the end of May. So those will be available quickly. And I think that's pretty much it, unless you have questions.
Any questions of Shauna?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have something?
Council comments?
Any council comments this evening?
Nope.
If there's nothing else, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Megan.
Second.
Okay, motion by Moheski, seconded by Patke to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.